All right. Welcome everybody. We are live after some a few holdups. We're live. I'm sending the go live posts now to make sure that folks start rolling in. I'll be keeping an eye on the chat as best I can because we're going to be live on YouTube and Twitch, and I only have a very small monitor here, so I'm going to do my very best. Let's snag a picture for this. There we go. And we're gonna just making sure people are, hey, Nickabeans is here. Nickabeans hung out with the Grizz crew waiting for me. I appreciate it. I'm getting the go live posts out. Anyone who sees one, go ahead and hit a like, hit a share, make sure people see us. And we got some awesome toys to look at. We're starting late. My apologies, Cody Brooks in the house for some monster trucks tonight. I apologize for the late start, everybody. We yeah, we had some technical issues. The Streamlabs just up in, I don't know what its problem was. It just gave up on me. All of a sudden, it had deleted everything I'd done. I had to re-sign in again. Eventually, I had to restart the whole computer. A real mess. I've never had that happen to me before. Uh, we are we are live, and we're making it happen here. I'm just getting the word out, making sure that people see us, making sure that folks come and join because we're this is going to be a good one. I'm psyched for this. This is something I've wanted to do forever, and we're finally making it happen. Finally live! Exclamation point. Post. We got one more post to get up, and then we're going to get rolling here. Whether we get more viewers or not, I think this is going to be an absolute blast. I really went out of my way to try to make sure that I had everything I could need here at an arm's reach. I got a new mic set up. Let me know how I'm sounding. I'm using some faux AirPods here, some cheapos that I got off Amazon. Adam NX67, welcome, my friend. Yeah, had some technical difficulties. Had to relaunch everything. My computer just decided that it had no desire to play nice tonight, and Streamlabs was revolting in both senses of the word. Oh, Nickabeans redeemed hydrate. I see. I'm almost ready. I left my beverage upstairs. I'm gonna have to owe you one, Nickabeans. Thank you. I noticed you saw I lowered the Perry Bucks price on that. I'm gonna have to get you back for that one, I'm afraid, because otherwise I gotta run all the way upstairs, and we're already getting off to a late start, folks. Welcome to a stream I've been dying to do. We are reviewing the entirety of the toy line, the Matchbox Super Chargers, and I am so excited. I've got piles and piles of toys around me here. Whoa, Nickabeans on a 35 stream watch streak. Thank you, Nickabeans. Holy moly. I'm so excited to do this. This is something I've been looking forward to for a long time. I got my little turntable here, and we are going to jump right in. I'm gonna be adjusting lights, adjusting settings throughout this stream, making sure that everything looks absolutely as good as we can get it. Right, welcome aboard. All right, let's hop into our close-up view. Whoa, I gotta move myself out of the way here because right now I was hovering directly over the chat. The chat's gonna be tough to see on this one. I didn't have a chance to build a special look because yeah, everything went wrong. All right. So we're live. We're going to be looking at the Matchbox Superchargers toys. I got a whole pile of notes here because I want to be able to tell you everything you could possibly need to know. First of all, this initial toy line released 1986 with just a fleet of monster trucks. It was just the monster trucks, right? Eventually, we moved into mud racers. Eventually, we moved into color variations, and eventually, it moved into even pulling tractors. Um, there's a lot of places I could start this stream. There's a lot of places I could start this story. Let's take it back. Summer of the pandemic, summer 2020, the world is shut down, and my birthday rolls around. I've been cooped up in the house, just trapped, really going through it. And I had mentioned to my wife many times that when I was a kid, I collected the Matchbox Superchargers monster trucks. I no longer had, I think, any of them at that point. Um, they had been a huge part of my childhood. They were my introduction to like really die-cast rolling toys. I had them before I had any Hot Wheels cars or anything like that. Um, and like even like my childhood best friend and I, like for one of his birthdays, he had one of the trucks I didn't have, and I'd been begging him to trade me. For one of my birthdays, he just gave it to me. We were 8. That's crazy for an 8-year-old to just give away a prize toy like that. Shout out Clayton, my childhood best friend, no longer with us. Um, but those toys had stayed in my head forever because they're just beautiful. They're works of art. They're really something special. And I am going to go to the wide shot on this because we're going to look first at the one thing I always wanted as a kid but never had. Never had. It is the play set for this series. My wife got me this for my birthday while the world was shut down. I had no idea it was coming. And I had always wanted it. I had begged my parents as a kid, and I have it here now to show you. This is the Matchbox Superchargers playset, and it looks like a box because it is. It is a carrying playset so that you can carry pieces. Now, not all of this is original. This sticker I designed myself because the one we got was missing the sticker. This is a slight difference from the original sticker. The original one just said Superchargers, and this piece that is the crowd is a little piece of cardboard that goes on here. I had to replace this, and when I did, I just had a sticker made from an image I found online, and I cut out a piece of cardboard that fit it. And you can see it used to be a Pop Tarts Pop Tarts box, but now it is a part of my Superchargers play set. Now there's more to this. If I open the end here, forgive all the dust and everything. I just yanked all this stuff off of a shelf to bring down here. Um, Inside of here, it's possible that I don't. Oh yeah, no, it's in here. It's in here. I got to pull the end off. Um, so the whole end comes off of here, and inside here with this little protective tube is the play mat that came with this, which looks like an arena floor with a parking space and treads all over it, somehow still in one piece. It's a plastic piece on a tube. It's supposed to pull out the front, and I don't dare do it anymore because this is very old and tattered. So this stays neatly rolled up and set aside. And I make no apologies for that because while it is very cool, it doesn't fit opened up on a shelf. And I really don't want to damage it any further than it is. This playset is primarily made of cardboard. So it is a very delicate bit of kit. Oh, I got pieces coming off the other end. These end pieces are supposed to be like a roller for this, so it's a little bit complicated to take this thing apart and put it back together. It takes a lot of very careful maneuvering. All right, so I'm gonna set that aside here while we continue to look at the rest of this playset because there is quite a bit more to see. And that thing has worked very well as a nice little backdrop on my toy display shelf. It's true. My favorite Pop Tart is cinnamon brown sugar, and I will eat them until I am absolutely sick if I am allowed. All right, now we're going to go to the close-up cam here. We're going to hop on over because we're going to start looking at the actual toys. Now, lineup number one, lineup number one from this toy series uh, was all just monster trucks. There were no mud racers, there were no tractors. And a lot of them were trucks that had been featured on Return of the Monster Trucks, the first ever televised monster truck side by side racing. a VHS that I first watched at the age of 2 when another kid at my babysitter's brought it over. His parents had recorded it off of, I believe, HBO is where it aired. And after I would not shut up about it, my parents went out and we found these toys. And they also borrowed, because we had one VCR, it was the 80s. They borrowed a VCR from the neighbor, and I borrowed that VHS from the kid at my babysitter. Again, I'm 2, maybe closing in on 3 at this point, and they dubbed it so that I had my own copy, and I played it till it would not play correctly anymore. You can watch it in its entirety on YouTube. We'll do a watch along sometime here on Twitch. Um, that said, we got to start looking at some toys. Now, Series 1, our basic monster trucks, starts with the king of monster trucks, the original, the OG, Bob and Marilyn Chandler's very own from St. Louis, Missouri, the big blue Ford Bigfoot. Oh yeah, I'm so glad that this camera's focusing. Let's see, can I get it up and pointed down? There we go. Yeah, that's looking good. I'm going to let that spin there. I'm so glad I have a turntable for this. Now, this truck, compared with today's trucks, you'll notice very balloony tires. It's a very stout design. The coloring on there is sort of almost like a screen press, the way that it's very monotone. I'll bring it in, see if we can get a nice, if it'll focus on this. There it is. Yeah, real simple design. But when I tell you that there was no more treasured toy in my collection when young Perry was young Perry than this Bigfoot, I can't overstate that. Now, there were different versions of Bigfoot that came out, and I should have another one here. This is one that I had to search for a fair bit because they were also designed because they knew they were going to have pull sleds. And so they have a little hitch in the back. This one, however, does not. It has this sort of sharp angle in the back and it just goes down. But if I bring out truck number 2 in the set, arguably the second most famous in this series, a truck that I got to see in person for the very first time about a year ago. I'd waited 40 years to see this truck, and I got to see it. 2 of them, actually, a regular one and a ride truck of this truck in Springfield, Massachusetts. It is USA 1, Everett Jasmer's Ford. That was a Ford originally, later a Chevrolet. That was sort of the foil to Bigfoot. And these two were sort of the first feud in monster trucks in the early 80s. It's a beautiful truck. They've done a great job with, I mean, even the hood has the design really nicely done on it. Adam NX67 says my favorite. And you'll see this one has the hitch on the back. That's the square bit with the opening there. This Bigfoot version does not. And there were Bigfoots that were released with it. This one is not one of them. I have probably 7 or 8 of this Bigfoot kicking around. So I have some that do have it. This one, the one I grabbed, just happened not to. Um, Now I want to show after this Bigfoot came out, the next time there would be a 1/64th scale Bigfoot that was properly like Tundra tires, the look, right? Was when, and we've done some work with these, the Hot Wheels series came out in the early 90s, the Bigfoot Champions series. And you'll notice a much more realistic build on this than with the Matchbox Supercharger, just styled to be a little less cartoony. Um, Truth be told, as a kid, I preferred this. I wanted it to look like it looked on TV, you know? As a grown-up, I love them both dearly. But this, the OG, I mean, come on, right? So, Bigfoot and USA 1, those were our first 2 here. These trucks meant the world to me as a kid. They mean the world to me now. When my wife got me the playset, these 2 trucks were inside the box. They were included with the playset. But she wasn't done because she knew as much as those 2 were important to me that there was another truck in the series that I really, really loved. And that is Jim Oldacre's diesel-powered Dodge van, Rollin' Thunder. And this thing, I have a nicer version of this with fewer dents and scratches, but this is the one that came when my wife got it for me. So this is the one I like best. I'm going to hold it steady so we get the graphics. If this camera will focus for me. There it is. Look at that. Look how nice that looks. And yeah, that truck, the van itself looks like a toy in real life. Like it just looks like a toy. I'm seeing if I can get something to stick this camera up on so we have a slightly better angle here. Um, yeah, this ought to work. Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, that's looking good. I'm gonna turn down the light on it just a hair. I just want the faintest bit of light coming off it so we don't get too much glare. Yeah, there we go. Since it has itself on the side of it, I wonder if it's one of those pieces of art that just goes on for. Yeah, this. So when I was a little kid, I was a little obsessed with that idea because the same could be said of Bigfoot, that it had the little picture of it on the side. Any truck that had a picture of itself when I was a little kid, I thought that it just went on in infinity, just trucks all the way down. But Rolling Thunder, it's great because this looks like the most cartoony representation of a monster truck. But if you Google this truck, this is just how it reads. The real one really reads just like this. Um, so really just a wonderful representation, and it fits in the style with the rest of the toys. All right. Also in that first series, so I'm sticking with the trucks that were in uh, the trucks that were in Return of the Monster Trucks first. That's where I'm starting. So coming up next, from Killeen, Texas, with an Allison aircraft engine in the rear, we have the runner-up on Return of the Monster Trucks, Awesome Kong 2. Let's get a look at the. There we go. Look at that. And again, this one's all chipped up and beat up. I don't mind that in my toy collections. I like a toy with some history. But yeah, this is a beautiful, beautiful truck and a really nice stance. I like that it's the step side. You don't get that a lot in monster trucks. They're always the flat sides, flat fenders on the rear. This truck, massive. I mean, let me see. We got emotes in the chat of this truck. Let's see them flying in the chat, you guys. Let's see it. Um, okay, good, good. Making sure everything's looking smooth here. Yeah, there we go. There's a couple of them. Um, yeah, boy, if I was a little more agile with this little setup, I would set off the alert. Hey, so who wants to set off the Awesome Kong alert? It is, ooh, it's pricey. 500 bits sets off the Awesome Kong while we got him on screen. All right. So next in the set, and again, I'm sticking with the real trucks first, the ones that actually existed, the ones that actually raced, the ones I would have seen on TV as a wee little Perry. Um, so the next one was also featured very briefly on Return of the Monster Trucks in a montage. You see him doing his famous bus crush. He would crush two school buses, and that is Taurus. Jack at this time would have been Jack Willman Sr. driving Taurus. This is a truck that in later years would be a regular at the Springfield Civic Center. And I would see Jackie Willman Jr. driving. We'll get the non-spinning look at that so we can get everything in focus here. Got to get the reflection off it. It's hard to tell if it's focusing because there's a lot of fine detail on there that it needs to. There we go. Really, really nice. And yeah, I like that deep maroon color, sort of different from the Awesome Kong, which is a red verging on orange. Something I didn't realize as a kid. I thought Awesome Kong was just red. I grow up and everyone on the internet talks about how the truck was orange. He was red, but it was a bright red. Um, so that's Taurus. Next up in that original line, this is all 1986. Next up in the original line, we have another truck that was a real truck. but was not featured on any of the things I would have seen. This is Flying High. Now, this one is a Toyota. Sits a little bit lower, a nice big gray roll cage on the back of that, you'll see. I kind of wonder if I should have put up a backdrop or something. Well, live and learn, guys. Um, we'll get a nice bit of a close up here. He's got his logo on the tail there, Flying High. Very simple design, but that's exactly how the truck looked in real life. It's a Toyota. Um, yeah, a great little truck, and it does sit a little lower than the others. If I put Awesome Kong with it, you can see he sits up a bit higher. Not higher, eye level. Um, See, when I was having monster truck races as a kid, I always had Flying High stand in for Just Showing Off. I did the same thing. There's another truck, if you Google it, Just Showing Off, looks so similar to Flying High in terms of paint job. Just Showing Off was a Ford F-150 sort of design, and this one was again a Toyota with very low stance on the truck. All right, continuing through that original series, we have a truck that when I was a kid was always my stand-in for No Problem. And this truck would later be all hacked up and turned to a really weird look from the Bream Brothers racing team. This is Mad Dog 2. Beautiful little Chevy Blazer. And this one, because it's molded from the actual Matchbox series, has some headlights up there. We've got like an old school trailer hitch on the back. There's a winch molded into the front grille here. A lot of cool little details. I'll bring it up, see if we can get it to focus, and we can see that winch. Yeah, I see the little winch design that's in the bumper there. And as we go along, it's got the steps for climbing in. On the back, it has two different trailer hitches. Yeah, a lot of cool detail. I love the yellow tint on the windshield. Just a really slick toy, and it's got a little bit more heft to it than a lot of the others, which meant that as a kid, when you were letting your trucks do little downhill races, this thing was hard to beat because it had a lot more momentum. Um, but yeah, a really nice piece, a lot of detail that you can't even really see. I don't even know if it'll show up on camera if we get it to focus, but there are rear seats in there that are fully molded. Yeah, you can sort of see them through the window there. There are rear seats in that and a whole back seat molded in there. Like just so much work and thought into these old toy designs. All right, again, sticking with Series 1 here, we have, okay, so I loved these because they were so weird looking. And when you see this, you might notice that it's a little dusty. First, you might notice that, but it has at least one non-original part on it. Okay, we'll see if anyone in the chat can spot what it is. I love the short wheelbase on this thing, and also look at that design on the hood that says Hawk there. So cool, so slick. But yeah, really short wheelbase, which was indicative of the monster Jeeps at the time. They had really short wheelbases. They were known for tipping up real easy, which is dangerous because they were open. All the detail there, you can see all the molded in seats and the steering wheel. Steering wheel, oddly enough, because Matchbox was a British company, steering wheel is on the wrong side. It is on the British side, which it would have not been in this monster truck, I can assure you. So that's something interesting. Now, one of the things that I'll point out, I mentioned there's a non-original part on this. When I got this, it was missing the roll bar. I designed this roll bar myself, found some gray filament that matched the interior that was already in the truck, and printed it to go on there, and it was a pretty good fit. That's actually filament printed, which is really hard to get that kind of detail. But I did it from a lot of pictures I found online, a lot of careful measuring, and I managed to get it almost exact. It's not totally exact, but it's real close. And when you look at it next to, say, the roll bar on Just Showing Off, it's got the same vibe. All right. So also in this series, we had a truck called So High, and I have two of them out here because I pulled this one out to do some comparison stuff before, and I'll let this one spin for a second while we talk about it because this one came to me in a big box from a fan. We'll get the non-spinning so it focuses and we can get a good careful look here. It's a Model A Ford van. The headlights did break off real easy on this, like real easy. Um, and I will say this also has a non-original piece. Um, when you look at this one, this roof was missing on this, so it was just open. And I 3D printed a little filler that just pops right on and is a perfect fit. So again, I don't really always care if a toy I have is all original or anything, For me, the piece is the piece. And this is as close to original as it needs to be. So like it's fine for me. Really does the trick. All right. We're gonna pull that one off over there. And let's see, next on my list for this is a truck called Toad. And this is a big. It's called Toad, Toad, but it should be spelled Towed because it is a massive and beautiful Peterbilt tow truck. Now, these ones are really hard to get in their original condition for a few reasons, and I'll show them off to you here. This one I'm very lucky. This is a great example of one that made it, made it all the way to the year 2026, still in good condition. Um, so it has these little smokestacks. Those always snapped off. You can see they're not actually like attached all the way up. Those always broke off. These little headlights also broke off all the time. I have both headlights, I have both smokestacks, but on the back, these tow arms, they move. Both of them do. And they were so susceptible to breaking, especially if you tried to tow something with it, like kids would tie something to those hooks and try to get it to pull them, and you'd snap them, or they'd put them all the way out to the sides and let it run like that, and they would hit something and they'd snap off. But mine is fully intact, I'm happy to say. All right, we're continuing on. We're like, I don't know, somewhere between a third and a half through the series. Like, there's a lot of toys here, and we haven't even gotten to the ones where I have to give like backstories and history yet. So there's a ways to go here. So again, in line number one, we also had, in a similar vein to that one, we had Big Pete, which was based on a real truck. Mike Welch's Big Pete, named Big Pete because it is a Peterbilt massive dump truck. And I'll give us the close up here so you can see the writing on the side that says Big Pete. And yes, the die cast all metal dump does go up and down still attached. Both smokestacks, although they are a little worse for wear, most of the chrome rubbed off them entirely. But again, another. Oh, I never even noticed on the back on the chrome bumper where it says caution, and there's like yellow to highlight it. Really nice. Yes, Big Pete was just a semi monster truck and also purple and still runs. It is over in the UK. You can see it sometimes on the Swamp Thing YouTube or on uh, there's another British monster truck guy, Kev Talbot, runs a monster truck in the UK, and because there's so few, they're all on all the same shows together. So he's always there, still running. But yeah, really like, and again, one with a lot of heft. When you were a little kid racing, letting them go down ramps, this was one of the ones you wanted. Also, it was fun because you could load up the back and dump stuff out of it. I mean, come on. What little kid doesn't love that? All right, and we are in the last truck of Series One. This is a truck called Doc Crush, which I believe did not come solo. I think you had to get it in a pack that came with the full. Ah, Soda Pop, welcome in, my friend. Oh man, those alerts kill me. Um, so this is Doc Crush. As you can see, this nice little painted on logo on the back of the truck there. And this is a Model A Ford hot rod. Outstanding. Welcome, welcome, Soda Pop. Yeah. I just added that one in yesterday. Oh man. Oh, Encrypted says missing alert audio again. Let's see. Is everyone else missing alert audio? Because I'm getting it. Let me make sure. Let me make sure there's not something amiss with this. A myth, a myth. Okay, it looks to me like it should be coming through. Yes. Oh no. Haven't heard. Oh no. Okay. All right. Everybody hold on one sec because we're gonna fix that. We're gonna fix that immediately. We're not letting the stream go another second without the alert audios. And I'll hit those again if I need to. All right, hang tight, everybody. Just watch this beautiful Dock Crush spin in front of you. It's a great truck, and that is the last one of Series One of the Superchargers. And in a second, we're going to move on to Series Two that came out in '85, the Mud Racers, um, which is going to be really excellent. I'm very excited to show you some of those because the tire design really weird. And very cool, and actually influenced a bunch of other toy lines. Now that I think about it, I can rant about that a sec while I try to fix this. Um, all right, alerts. What's your deal? It might just be the new ones are all muted. Let's find out. Visuals and sound. Oh, cool. Okay, I'm making sure all of them are going to work here. You did that? You heard those without hearing that. Did that one work? Did it go off that time? Did we have audio that time? Couldn't hear that. Oh no. I got to figure out why none of these are wanting to do their sound. They should be. They should be. They shouldn't be muted at all. They should absolutely be making sound. Let's try it. Okay, yeah, it's showing muted for me too, for no good reason. That's so annoying. Oh my God. Why? Let's see. Okay, was that still muted? Because if it was, I don't think any of them are going to actually work, and we're just going to have to power through. Unbelievable. Streamlabs. Streamlabs has been a nightmare today. It's caused problems left and right. Let me tell you. All right, we're gonna power on with our monster trucks here. So that was Dock Crush, and that does complete Series 1. I'm going to do a little shifting of some pieces here so that I have some space to work with. And remember, we're building to a big moment at the end of this stream. We are going to open for the first time. We're going to open a monster truck that's never been opened before. You know what? I bet I know how I can make the audio work. Let's try this. See what this does. All right. Yeah, still in the bag here. That's right, Adam. All right, you guys, tell me if this time you hear it.
Bobby, Al Yankovic blew his brains out in the late 80s after people stopped buying his records.
Did we do it? Did we do it? I got a good feeling. Yes. Okay, cool. In that case, I owe you guys a couple. Hang on one second. I'm going to go set them off right now. We're going to play with our alerts here. Let's see here. One of these is Tobias. As in Joe, buy us some coffee. Let's see. Oh, there it is. All right.
But in this business of show, you have to have the heart of an angel and the hide of an elephant.
But you've never actually had an audition.
Well, excuse me.
We getting it that time?
Excuse me.
The crying. Okay. I think those are the only two that went off. If I missed another one, let me know and I'll go set it off. I swear. I don't like the idea that people gave bits, people did subs, and we didn't have audio. Soda Pop shouts out. Thank you so much. All right, we are going to clear Series 1 out of the way here. And I'm going to count them up because according to the internet, there's like 70 toys in this line. That can't be right. Like that seems pretty steep to me. So let's see. Here we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got pieces falling apart here. 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 12 in Series 1. So there's no way there's 70 because I'm looking at the rest of the pile and that ain't 70. Okay. Trying to make space without causing problems here. Let me tell you, setting up for this stream was an absolute nightmare. I don't mind saying. Whoa, whoa, we got emotes flying like crazy. We got Gravediggers, we got Perrys. And we're gonna get to Gravedigger. In fact, we're gonna get to the first ever Gravedigger diecast that was ever made. That's coming up just in a little bit. All right. So Series 2 of the Superchargers was called the Mud Racers. These were released in 1985, just 1 year later, or it was actually technically 86. It was the end of 85. The others were beginning of 85. So 86 these were released, and there are a few vehicles in this, and you're going to notice right away the tire design on these is diabolical because they're supposed to look like mud boggers, and mud boggers have those deep treads. Okay, so we're going to start with Mud Ruler. This is a vehicle based on a Corvette, and I'm just making sure that I grab the right one. Yeah, this is the one. All right. A lot of these I'm dusting as I pick them up because not all of them are behind glass in my display. So a lot of them, yeah, I used all of these as monster trucks, and I would just slide the mud tires off and take another set of monster truck tires and put them on there. Like that was just something I did because you'll see. That's no mud racer. That's a monster truck, right? But look at that tire design. Look at the tread on that. Those mud paddles. Absolutely crazy. Now this one to me looks less like a mud racer and more like something Evil Knievel or like Joey Chitwood would have driven. Again, tons of detail in the molding inside the body, where you have all the seats and everything. These would have been a good stand-in for Blue Thunder, which was originally a car monster truck, or a Monster Vet, which was all they were both featured on Return of the Monster Trucks. But yeah, a lovely design, and this was the two features that really distinguish these from the monster trucks. are the tread style on the tires and these giant, goofy, cartoony, chromed up engines, which are actually like once this focuses on that, really beautiful, like a real nice design. But it is a little cartoony, and the blowers are, really tall. Now, I don't mind that. I like my toys cartoony, and it fits the vibe. So that's vehicle one of the Mud Runners. Vehicle two was called Bog Buster. Uh, wow, rough Trek body. I'm reading all the notes on this from the series, and let's see which one of these is the Bog Buster. I know it says it on it. This might be it. No, that's Mud Monster. Ah, here we go. Oh, yeah. This is crazy. I apologize for all the dust on this, you guys. I swear these are actually really pretty. But this thing, looking a bit like an El Camino. Look at that. The roll bar in the back. Like this might be the coolest one of this line. And there's some real challengers for that title. I'm gonna let that spin around. We can get a good look at it. Stand in for King Crunch. Yep, it has the look. It absolutely has the King Crunch look, Adam. You're totally right. A beautiful, beautiful toy, and one that I think as a kid I never actually had because it didn't take priority for me in the toy store. There were other ones that to me looked like, oh, this reminds me of this truck, it reminds me of that truck, especially for the ones that weren't based on real vehicles. Um, we'll set that one aside. Next on my list, we got Hog. Now, Hog, I don't have to look around and figure out which one is Hog because you can tell from a mile away which one is named Hog. And that design is so sick. Like, what a great looking. I believe it's like like a little pro stock Chevy. Like, yeah, it even has the mesh molded into the window there. Yeah, candy corn, candy corn design. It makes it go faster. It's all that sugar. But yeah, if you can't tell, I adore all of these. Like, there's not a one in this series that I don't just love. Um, all right, so that's Hog. Next on the list is one called Mud Monster, and this is going to look awfully familiar because it's the same molding as our Jeep from Series One, but painted different. And mine's a little beat up. It's got some missing parts. It's missing the windscreen, and the roll bar is a little messed up. But I do like the name on the hood, Mud Monster, and the paint job, really slick. And again, that really short wheelbase, and that British steering wheel where it's on the wrong side because Matchbox was based in England. You'll see that a lot with a lot of old Matchbox vehicles where the steering wheel's on the wrong side. As a little kid, never noticed, never once noticed. And honestly, I forget all the time. But yeah, this one's in not as great a shape. But that doesn't really bother me. Again, I like toys with a story. This looks like it got played with, and then it looks like it got left in a garage for a long time, which it probably was. But the design on this is such that like this front bumper almost touches those tires with those big scoops on there. And when you make them turn, the tires do touch. They run like a gear on each other. So yeah, not the most practical design. And if you're pushing it, it gets jammed up pretty easy. But boy, with that tread, makes a great noise. All right, continuing on. Next in the Mud Racers line is Big Pete, which was the reused dump truck. Now, I don't have an example of this one because I don't have one where I put the mud tires on it. I do have a spare Big Pete. It just doesn't have the mud tires on it, but we just saw Big Pete before. So same thing can be said for Doc Crush. It's the exact same, that red hot rod. I do have a spare, I just don't have mud tires on it. Not gonna worry too much about that. So there's two others in this series. One is called Mudslinger 2, and I believe it's a different design than it's a Bronco, but it's not the same as the Mad Dog Bronco. And it does have a great. I love the blue paint job. It almost looks like a Gatorade bottle, really, if I'm being honest. I like the molded in the mirrors in the die cast. We got the pop top window up here, letting a little air in for the driver. And it's a very clear windshield, which a lot of the others don't have. A lot of them have tinted windshields. But that's one that has a really good stance too. Again, the sort of cartoony nature of all of these, really nice. Yeah, I even honestly like the footage of these spinning on here. Archival footage for future generations. All right, I'm gonna keep that one nearby because we're gonna need it again in just a second. But the last one in that series was simply called 57. It is a 57 Chevy candy apple red with a glitter finish. Really nice. So pretty. With a working hood that would open so you could see the engine. Like that one's real fancy. This one was also sold on monster truck tires, and you would get it in a pack that came with one of the pull sleds. And there's a few vehicles that that's the case with. They repackaged a bunch of them so that they could be sold with that same pull sled later. And again, this I have a bunch of old Matchbox toys from the 80s, 90s. They're all the same sort of molds. Like I have regular little pickups that are the same as Awesome Kong. I've got a little car that's the same as this. They reused molds and parts all the time because getting those made was real expensive, really expensive. And getting new ones done was real expensive, so they didn't want to have to make a bunch of new ones. Um, yeah, so and I get it. I make toys and I totally get it. It's a pain to make new stuff. Now, I said we wanted to keep this one out, and that's because I wanted to show. Now, when I say I have the full collection, what I mean is I have one example of every vehicle. There were variants of all the vehicles, and I'm not worried about having all of those. I don't need five of the same truck. Okay, that's not on my radar. Not something I need. Not something I have space for, quite frankly. Um, but I do have a second one of Mudslinger that came with, and they were doing this for a while, where they did the tires in different colors. And so this one has tires that are sort of like highlighter yellow, which is like a cool and unique look. And they had orange tires as well. Yeah, just super strange, like really weird that they needed that. And speaking of color variations, toward the end, when we're ready to get into some nitty-gritty stuff, when we're winding down the stream, I'm going to pull some images up on screen, and we're going to see the only toys that I would be interested in having from this set that I don't have, uh, but I'm not dying to have, but they are very unique and very strange. Um, all right, so that is our Mud Racer line. I'm going to put all those back in back in their flat over here. These cardboard flats are how I do all my projects. I can put everything I need for a project in one and just move it around. Especially as a toy maker, everything I work with is very small. All right. So next up, and if this is what I think it is, yes, I've been looking forward to showing this off. We have these Superchargers monster tractors. These are the first, as far as I can tell, the first die casts of tractor pull toys that were ever made. And their scale is very strange compared to the monster trucks or the mud boggers because they wanted to reuse the mold for the tires on the monster trucks. A lot of pulling tractors, the rear tires are very similar to monster truck tires. They're not the same at all, but they're similar enough for a toy maker anyway. So we're going to get a look at some of these. And we're going to start with a puller called Drag On. Now they had three molds that sort of repeat. This is Dragon, the pulling tractor. And you can see on the side, got a little cartoon dragon shooting smoke. And then if we look dead on, we've got the name on there and some fire. And our little driver is chromed up there. And if you'll notice, this thing runs on a jet engine. And that is a real thing. That is a real thing from the pulling tractors of the 80s. Some of them had jet engines that they ran on. And fire would come shooting out of the top of that. And again, this is the same tire mold as the monster trucks, which does make the scale very sort of strange. They're bigger than the monster trucks are, which is just super weird. But it doesn't matter because they're so cool looking. Now, when I was a kid, I remember seeing these in the store and not being terribly excited about them. Mostly because I didn't love the tractor pulls when I was a kid. I like them a lot more now. I think the aesthetic is amazing, especially the tractors. The pulling trucks, you got to have something special there for me to be into it. The four-wheel drive pullers, but the two-wheel drive, the tractors. I mean, it's such an iconic '80s thing. Yeah, I love this one too. There's five more from this set, and each one is equally ridiculous. So that's Drag On. The next one is called Voodoo. Now, this was one of the last ones I was able to get because I think people who had it didn't want to part with it because it's really cool looking. This is Voodoo. This one has, near as I can tell, two engines on it. It's possible that that's supposed to represent four engines. It's kind of hard to tell. But you got the weight box in the front. You got Voodoo written on the side. Really cool color scheme and paint job on there. And our driver got paint as well. He's not chromed. We can actually see arms and shoulder straps and a helmet. Art Arden's green. That's right. The green monster tractor puller was the one that shot fire. Yes, I was trying to remember the name as you said it, and that's definitely what Drag On is meant to resemble. 100%, 100%. Yeah, the Voodoo one is great. I actually ended up, I have a few spare pullers, and we did do a stream in the past where I designed my own funny car puller in this scale, fully 3D printed with a little Hot Wheels car body on it. And we'll do another stream at some point where we'll look at all my 3D printed monster truck designs. But that is going to have to be another stream. I'm realizing as I sit here that I have two other toys that I'm going to need to show later. One I'm going to have to grab off a shelf. I don't have it here, and the other I'm going to have to grab out of a box in the back. So later on, we can't forget. I have some other ones that are trying to not be shown, but we're going to remember them. All right, moving on. The next tractor in the line is called Hot Stuff. This one was also really hard to get my hands on, and it is another one that's a great design. This is the third mold in the series. This one has four engines and flames, which looks amazing. On the side, it says hot stuff. This is another one where the driver has some paint, so we get a lot of detail on the driver. This one's got a very cool look. Yes, Chi-Town Hustlers was one of my favorites. That's why I made the Funny Car Puller as my 3D print project. Is I wanted something that wasn't just the tractors. And I'll probably revisit that and do some more. And I need to make a replica version of these tractors so I can make some more variants. I can look at some of the famous ones and try to get their look. But this look of the big flared fender over the two big tires and the driver kind of squat down between those two big rear tires, that's that iconic pulling tractor 80s look. You'll see me share them sometimes on my Instagram story because people do still do tractor pulls. They're still very popular. And if I see a really good one, I'll put it on there. All right, so that's number three. Next, we have one called Showtime, and this is our other jet-powered tractor. This one has a very simple paint job. Almost looks like it would have been sponsored by like McDonald's, maybe. This one though has the black on the visor, So you can make out the driver a little bit better there, the chromed up driver. But another real simple design. Now, one of the things I didn't love about the jet-powered designs is that they have less chrome on them, so they look more plastic and toy than the others. And these do have considerably more plastic on them than a lot of other toys. This one, the decal's kind of flipping off on the back. Yeah, the Showtime one is a beaut, and uh, I do see those come up from time to time. Facebook Marketplace is a great place to look for these because the people selling on there don't really care about them or consider them to be collectibles. All right, next on the list is called let's see, this one's a Checkmate. To me, this one could have been called Pick It Up, Pick It Up, Pick It Up. It's got a very ska kind of look with that checkered design. Again, really bright, vibrant colors, very 80s toy for a die cast. And again, it's a mold that we already saw, but I do like that the driver gets some red and yellow on him. It looks like he's wearing a fire suit made specifically for his race team. And I do like some of the details here. You'll see the hitch hole. That's for the pull trailer. And you can even see there's the indications of like the drivetrain under there. There's a lot of details on the bottom of these that they really didn't have to go into. You can see the drivetrain kind of shown where there's like that's the drive shaft and the axle on there. They didn't have to do that. No little kid knows about those parts, and they weren't flipping it over to look for them. But they did it anyway because these companies really they cared about details. They were willing to forego details in the name of having a toy that was more appealing. And I kind of agree with that. That's the aesthetic I enjoy in toys. All right, and last out of these pulling tractors is a puller called 12 Pack. It's a very simple design, very simple look here. See if we get that to focus in. Good enough, I guess. It doesn't want to focus on it. That's okay. Oh, there it goes. Yeah. But real simple design. To me, this one was sort of the one that looked the most like a real tractor would have. It's just because of the simplicity of its look. A lot of them were not very flashy. They just need to get the job done, and that's kind of what we see here. But yeah, a very cool design. And again, they were making use of the mold parts that they'd already had made for those monster trucks. These tires being the same as the monster truck tires. Um, Very ingenious, really smart to reuse that. Now we're going to get into this is pretty cool. This is I don't even know if it'll fit on the turntable here, but they needed pull sleds. And they had two variations of the pull sled. I have a third variation. But this is the pull sled, and it looks exactly like, and it's got a really nice logo on there, All American Puller, it says. And there's our little hatch attachment that can raise and lower to fit to monster truck height or tractor height, really. And the front does swivel. I don't know, and we've got the diamond plate on over the rear fenders there, the dually tires on the back. This is actually one of the more accurate looking pieces of the entire series. The Matchbox logo here I really like, nice touch. The sliding track has the cross members. Very, very slick. Now the other variation is, they're exactly the same. It's the same mold completely. But this other variation was yellow, and I do like the yellow. It does show a little bit more dust and dirt, but I think the yellow is a very cool look. And it would make sense. They often would have two sleds at the shows back in the 80s. I think they still do this in some places where they have space, but they would have two on shows like Return of the Monster Trucks. The Monster Trucks started their race both hooked to a sled, so they needed two. But when it came to the pullers, they wouldn't have two pullers going at the same time. They would alternate so that while one was setting back up and getting hitched, the other one was doing its run, so the crowd wouldn't have these long breaks between pulls. They did truck pulls at my county fair 2 years ago, and I went. I filmed it. It's in a vlog of mine, and yeah, it was excruciating waiting between the runs. It took forever. You say you always remember the sled being red. Now, these are the two variants that they made, blue and yellow. But I will say, I have a third variant, and it's not really fair because it's not real, if that makes sense. I have one that I got in a set from a fan, and they warned me ahead of time. They said, hey, when I was a kid, all my toys got left out in the sun. And so I have a teal variation. And I don't know how well it's going to read. Yeah, the color is notably different. I have a teal version that no one else, I think, has unless they left theirs in the sun. So I actually have three, and you can see the started blue. You can see the hitch is still the correct blue. Um, but yeah, so I ended up with three variations of the same toy when they only made two. And I do have another sled somewhere, but it's a double of the blue, so I have a spare there. Um, but I do keep all three of these on display with my tractors upstairs because why wouldn't I? I like that one of them is kind of weird. Um, so in I guess I guess we might get to it now. I guess it might be time. I don't want to make everyone wait all night before we get to the big reveal because technically in the tractors line they released one monster truck. They had one monster truck in the tractor line, and it was a UK exclusive. You had to buy all six tractors. You had to send your proof of purchase in by mail. It was a mail away, and they would send you a fictional truck called Wagon Wheels. And I never had it. I didn't even know it existed when I was a kid because I don't live in the UK. And then I've told the story on stream. Those who were here lived it. It was Christmas Eve. I was streaming here in the workshop, and Nickabeans and Encrypted Cryptid and Eric Bador and I think Soda Pop, a whole bunch of folks were throwing gift subs like crazy. And I said, if we hit 20 of them, there's one on eBay finally. They don't come up very often. They're not very expensive. I gotta have it. Yes, the giant Budweiser cans on the pole sleds. I could 3D print those and put them on there. A little Perry Cola can. Oh, that's so smart. That's a future stream, 100%. Adam NX67. See, this is why I keep all of you around. You're all thinking smart. I just realized that the on YouTube the chat is going to be completely unreadable because it's black text on a black background. But so I have it here, and I'm going to bring it into frame. This is the Wagon Wheels truck, the UK exclusive mail away. Still in the plastic. It is pristine from what I can tell. Looks absolutely beautiful. It's the same mold as the Bigfoot toy, but it is bright red with a really nice design for a fictional truck. And as I threatened, we are going to open it right here on stream right now. This is a truck that has been in this bag. It has been sealed since I'm looking at the year, 1987 when they put this toy out. 1987, which makes this toy 3 years younger than I am. This toy is a 39-year-old toy, and we are going to open it right now here on stream. I'm going to do it in the close-up cam here. Just taking a little, there it is. We did it. The cut has happened. No turning back now. No turning back now. That's right. Spam those emotes because it is a done deal. This is now open, and it's going to have a space on the shelf with the rest of them from from across the pond, making its debut. Wagon Wheels. Let's get some close-up shots, and then we'll put it on the turntable. This is a very nice design. I love that design on the hood with the little stripes. Like the design on the smell the 80s from inside the bag. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see if we can smell the Reaganomics. Odorless. What kind of technology did the British have in the 80s? Hey, hey, Joey Nails. I didn't even see you sneak by there. Hey, welcome aboard, bud. Watching with the GF. Hell yeah. We just opened a 39-year-old toy monster truck, a UK only exclusive mail away that I got through the generosity of Encrypted Cryptid, Eric Badur, Not Nickabeans, and Soda Pop, who were all throwing gift subs on Christmas Eve on a big stream that I did. Let's get this thing on the turntable because this is beautiful, and we need it for posterity, for future generations. They got to be able to see a really, really nice design. Like I am all about this truck. I think it's going to look very nice next to Bigfoot and Awesome Kong and all the rest. Hey, Bear Doctor. Hey, good to see you. Um, yeah, a super great truck and one that I can't believe it took me 39 years to have in my collection. Uh, and yeah, we just opened it. We said, screw it. We're opening it. I want it on the shelf. I want it to breathe, baby. That's what we do with our toys. Now, our next set, because that is it for the proper Superchargers toys. That's it for those. That's it for all the ones they released in the 80s. But they weren't done. They were not done with their molds. They put a lot of money into these, and these sold like crazy. These things are everywhere. You go on eBay, there's so many of these. I've got doubles, and I've got stacks of them. Okay? These are not rare. That one's rare, but the rest are not rare. Okay? They weren't done making their money off of it because in 1994, the United States Hot Rod Association started a TV show. If you get the chance to look this up, it's a show called Monster Wars, and it was absurd. They had characters, like pro wrestling style characters, who were all big and jacked, fully covered. Most of them you didn't see their face, that were supposed to be the drivers of the monster trucks, and they wanted to make their money on this very cartoony Saturday morning show. So they released a toy line called Monster Wars. Now, we're talking about vehicles being opened or not opened. I have one toy that I will not open. We're going to show it in just a second, but first I'm going to show the open version. This is the first ever made 64th scale toy of Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher. Now, longtime fans will know I have wrestling gear designed to look exactly like this logo and designed to look like this paint job, where I've subbed out instead of the yellow, I have white. This is the same mold as the Bigfoot truck. They were reusing the models. I do like now they didn't chrome the chassis on these. Instead, they painted the centerpiece to sort of simulate shocks, and from a distance, it almost looks like more of a tube frame. It looks like there's separation there. They were really going for a different style because monster trucks had evolved a great deal by the mid 90s from what they were running in the mid 80s. We're going to let this guy spin because I mentioned I have one toy in the series that's in the package that I'm not going to open. It is a sealed Carolina Crusher, still on the card, writing on it from when it was in a thrift store for $3.69. We're going to show this because it is a beautiful, beautiful bit of packaging. Love the design on this. Get a load of that with his little character from the show and his little temporary tattoo. And on the back, they've got some beautiful art of all the vehicles in the set. There were a few that were never made, never released that I'd love to see if there's prototypes of, but I don't even know where to look for that. UK probably, since it was Matchbox in the 80s. The reason I don't open this was a thank you gift that I received from the one and only Judge John Hodgman. John Hodgman of The Daily Show, of 30 Rock, of Community, of Dicktown, of the Judge John Hodgman podcast, writer for the New York Times. He did a live show in Turners Falls, Massachusetts, where I played the Krampus for his Christmas show, and I had a wrestling match against him. John Hodgman has become a good friend, and he knew that I collected these, and he found one in a thrift shop in rural Maine, where he has his summer home, and picked it up for me as a thank you gift for being in his show. This one stays on the card. This one stays up on the wall on display. A very cool piece with a great little backstory. Gifted to me by a former Daily Show correspondent, Judge John Hodgman. So, Hodgman, if you happen to watch this at some point, I know you check in on my stuff every now and again. Shouts out. Thank you so much. It's become a treasured part of the collection. All right, bring our turntable back in. We got one turntable and a bunch of trucks. My new hit. All right, we're going to set that aside because also in the Monster Wars series was David Morris's Equalizer. Now, this is going to be the first one where we see something very special. These were the first toys where the engine was in the back. This was when monster trucks had evolved to where they were having mid-engine and rear-engine monster trucks. And this one has a rear engine, which as a kid I thought was so cool. It's got all the little design elements of Equalizer. Now, I didn't get to see Equalizer in his era, but I have seen the fully restored OG red Equalizer from the TNT era. That's late 80s, early 90s. That is fully restored at the Monster Truck Hall of Fame and Museum in Butler, Indiana. I've been there a couple times and do have my picture with that. So most of these trucks I have seen in person if they were real trucks, obviously. But that's a real beaut there, one that I really like. Again, it's the Bigfoot mold. Again, they weren't paying to have a lot of new molds made, but they did have one made. Two. They had two made for this series. Now that I'm looking over at the pile before me. All right. And we are building to a big reveal in this series, a gorgeous truck that I'm sure you're all going to be happy to see. Let's see. I want to put this right about there. I want to get it centered. Now, let's see. That was the only one I have of this series. Love the Equalizer look. Hold that thought because they didn't just release 1/64th scale trucks for this series. They released 1/43rd scale, which are pretty close to a 1/25th scale, truth be told. And I do have the Equalizer. Hang tight. I have to grab it out of a box behind us here. Thankfully, I have Bluetooth headphones. I can keep rambling. Let's see. I believe it's up in this box. Yeah, there it is. I do literally have just boxes and boxes of these toys. I just found another example. I mentioned the highlighter yellow mud tires earlier. They also made them in orange that I have an example of. So there you go. Um, Apologies for the dust on this Equalizer when I show this off, because it is very dusty from being down here in the basement. I don't have room to show off my larger toys, so a lot of them do sit in storage. But yeah, you can see this, no chrome left on that engine. It's all been worn off. Um, so they did make the 1/64th scales, our classic Hot Wheels Matchbox scale, but then they made 1/43rd scale, which are significantly bigger and look very cool. This one actually molded to be a Chevy like it should be, and it opens, and there's a big rear engine in here, and the figure of the driver, the cartoon character driver of Equalizer that they made for the series, fits right on the inside. How cool is that? Um, I do keep him inside the truck because otherwise he'll 100% get lost. Like, no question, he will end up missing. And I do have another one of those, but we're going to get to it in just a sec. Put that right there so it doesn't disappear on us. But that's Equalizer. All right. Also in this set was we had Taurus in the original set. Taurus was still running strong in this era and still very popular. In this one, they put the engine in the front, big fat engine sticking out of the front. This was when Taurus had switched over to a black and brown, black and bronze sort of paint job with they really nailed the logo from this era on there. They got the little USHRA logo on there as well. Some painting by the engine. And this was what Taurus looked like when I saw him for the first time at the Springfield Civic Center. This was the paint job that he was rocking at that time. Taurus is another truck that they have restored, sitting at the Monster Truck Hall of Fame and Museum in Butler, Indiana, and I've seen that one there as well. Currently, Taurus is actually a property owned by the Vaughters team, and they occasionally do put a Taurus body on one of their trucks when they tour. So it is possible to still see Taurus out touring and performing and racing. Um, all right. Also in this set, we had Invader. Now, Invader had been done over to look really crazy for the cartoon. The real Invader, as I remember him, was a black truck with some green and blue, kind of an understated paint job, truth be told. But for the cartoon, they made him look unhinged with yellows and pinks and this crazy font and this like robot armor. And the real truck did do this paint job to look like it because it was very marketable. And that's a beautiful truck. The coloring on that is excellent. I really when I got a hold of this one, a fan sent me this one. Most of these were sent to me by fans. Like I really didn't buy many of these at all. Um, and when this was sent to me by a fan, I was blown away by the color. Now I will say, of this series, this Monster Wars series, this is the only one that was gifted to me. The rest are my originals that I played with when I was in elementary school. So a lot of them are OG. Found them at my parents' house, still in a box. Um, so there's Invader. Now we're getting to the custom molds. They had two custom molds made for this series because these two trucks really required it. They needed it. That you couldn't get away with just using some other mold for them. The first one is Alan Pezo's Predator. This is the first ever released, that's not true, Snakebite in the Hot Wheels 1991 Bigfoot Champions was the first anthropomorphic truck diecast ever released. This is the second anthropomorphized truck ever released in Predator, who had that panther face right on the hood. Look at that. If it'll want to focus on it. It seems there. Oh, there we go. There we go. Look at that. Those teeth and those eyes on the side. That Predator logo with the USHRA rear engine. A really nice truck. Again, one that when I was a kid was a must-have. When I saw this in the store, I just about shouted. I remember. I was so excited, and I still get very excited at the sight of it. It's a very cool truck. Now, the main event for the Monster Wars series, because this was a truck that had been popular a long time, is still very popular, arguably the number one monster truck in the world these days. And this was the first ever die cast made of Dennis Anderson from Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger. The black and green wrecking machine, bad to the bone himself. The OG, look at the paint job on that. For 1994, this was unheard of. Those red headlights, signature red headlights. Green chassis underneath to look like the frame. Foldster, welcome, my friend. We're going over a whole toy line here. And this is, I mean, come on, the OG Gravedigger. You can still find this one. This series was not made as they did not release as many of the Monster Wars series as they did of the originals, and these are a little bit more expensive to get now. This is my OG toy from when I was a kid. This, let's see, 94, I would have been 10, yeah, 10-year-old Perry was playing with this toy in the sandbox. I was making jumps out of Play-Doh and running over Matchbox cars, making tracks out of Lego and using this truck on it. And he would have been my number one alongside either at the time. I probably would have paired him with the Bigfoot Champions Bigfoot, or depending on my mood, I would have broke out the OG Bigfoot. Because I mean, look at those two together. Come on. What a sight. I mean, you want to talk about this is Hogan Andre in motorsports talk. You know what I mean? This is Orton Cena. Outstanding. But again, I mentioned that they didn't just make 1/64th scale toys in this series. They made those 1/43rds that were much bigger. And I do have the 1/43rd scale Gravedigger. And he is really cool looking. I do not have the driver anymore. The driver could be in a box at my parents' house somewhere, or he might just be a thing of the past, I'm afraid. Um, Put that there. We'll move this back because this big guy, come on. Look at all the detail, those red headlights. Now, it's a goofy scale, right? Like, he's really tall for how long he is. But man, I loved this thing when I was a kid. I loved the rear engine that you could see in the back, just like the real Gravedigger. And it does open. It's a little, there we go. It does open up, so you've got the whole cab where the figure would sit that came with it. But yeah, make a ghoulish or zombie Perry to drive. Oh, I should make a little Perry to drive the Gravedigger. I mean, really, I could. I bet if I looked online, I could find enough reference images that I could make my own replica of the original. And that might be a future stream. I don't see why we wouldn't, right? I've made so many other replicas of toys that I just can't quite get my hands on. All right, put Gravedigger back in his display spot there. And now we're going to take the Monster Wars guys. And let's see. Is that the last of it? That might be the last of it. That might be everything from this set. That is the last of it. I thought somehow in my mind there was a lot more to show. I'm gonna move this camera way back to get us a lot of space. We're gonna put a bunch of these in frame here because I want to get a shot that we can go home on. Take myself out the no, that's not the one. Take myself out of the main pick there. We're gonna align a bunch of these up here. We need Gravedigger in the foreground for sure. We need this pointed down and probably brought up a bit. That ought to do it. Yeah, there we go. But I think if we're getting a bunch of them in the shot here, we got a Gravedigger and Bigfoot leading the pack is probably the way to go. We want Awesome Kong in the shot. We want Rolling Thunder. We want both Tauruses. Carolina Crusher's got to be in there. Wagon Wheels we'll put him dead front where you can't really see him. We're going to put a whole bunch of the tall ones way in the back. Guys, this has been a stream that I've wanted to do for a very, very long time, and I'm so glad that we got the chance to do it. I hope you all enjoyed my review of the Matchbox Superchargers series. Technically, we also covered a few others with the tractors and the mud boggers, but, to me, those belong. They belong. And there's so many other series that look like these. There's so many that look like these that were designed after them. And I have so many of those too. Whether it was the Majorette toys, whether it was let's see, I'm messing around with stuff here. Um, whether it was the Majorette toys, which were slightly smaller. It could have been, there were a lot of different series. The Road Champs, the Road Champions. There were a whole bunch of different ones that were very similar to these, and I collected all of them. And I still have so many of them. I've got boxes and boxes and boxes of these things. And eventually, we'll do videos on all of them. I think the next one like this we'll do where we do a big explainer video where we sit down and look at the series. I think the next one of these we do will have to be, it's going to have to be all the 3D designs that I've done so that we can see, all the different like variations that I've made on them. I do have some of them nearby here. I wanted to show at least one while I have you guys here because we've been working on them together on the stream, and it's worth seeing that the camper that we designed on the live stream a little while back, the camper came out amazing. You guys, get a look at the camper we designed. Look at that. That was from our stream a little while back. Oh, I'm gonna kill the light there and just, yeah, let the ambient light do the job. I'm knocking the body off of the truck here. But yeah, all the details on that camper. It's gonna look really good once we get it painted up. But yeah, a really cool design that came out just great. All right, and with that, I'm going to say thank you all so much for joining me. We are definitely going to raid somebody because somebody deserves to be raided. I am certain of it. We got to see who's up. In the meantime, let's see. What are my? I'm going to throw the alerts up on the channel again so that we can see them real quick. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Don't hey. See them real quick. Whoa, whoa. There we go. Don't need double. Day Without Darkness. Hey, you made it in though. If
Bobby,
Eric,
Al Yankovic blew his brains out in the late 80s after people stopped buying his records.
thanks, Soda Pop, gifting subs. You're the man. You're the woman. You're the Soda Pop. The Soda Papa. Sort of popping some gift subs is what you're doing. Um, let's see. Let's see what our alerts are because I wanna throw a couple things up before we call it a stream here. I want to see. There it is. I'm cheating. I'm looking at my own things here. Before we call it a stream, let's get
Khan would have to do the work, and he did.
there he is.
The destruction was awesome. I knew the thief was either dead or real shook up. I yelled at him, "Come on, surrender, or Khan would attack again."
Yeah, Day Without Darkness. You can show Eric his all-time favorite on the stream here, the Carolina Crusher. I was showing it earlier. Uh, I don't just have the loose one. I have one still in the package, mint on card, with its original temporary tattoo, a gift from Judge John Hodgman when I did his live show at the Shea Theater in Turners Falls. A very generous and kind gift from him. He found it at a thrift store in rural Maine when he was on vacation. But yeah, thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed all of the trucks. We are definitely going to raid somebody. Let's hop over. Let me get a look at who's on and what they're doing. See, Johnny Torres is playing Silk Song. That's a distinct possibility. We could let's see what's Frank Howley doing on stream. Maybe we'll raid Frank. Looks like he's doing the Joshi bookmarks, which isn't necessarily a bad time by any means, but I think we're gonna raid Johnny Torres. Johnny Torres is the man. He's the homie. I'm gonna be on the road with him day after tomorrow, headed up to Limitless Wrestling for the Limitless Rumble in Maine. Gonna be a great time. Gonna watch MJF versus Alec Price. All right, let's all go pay Mr. Johnny Torres a visit. When we hop in there, let loose with the Perry emotes. Tell him we're there. Give him a follow. Give him a subscribe. Give him all the stuff. Show him that we appreciate his time. Tell him about Gravedigger. Tell him about Wagon Wheels. Tell him about Bigfoot. Tell him how much fun it was looking at all my old toys. I'm sure he'll love to hear it. I will see you all soon. Thank you so much for hanging out. I'll be here next week, 8 p.m. Monday. See you then.